I would like to introduce.
Okay, let's go.
No billboards, no online radio station. WNB1 radio broadcasting live 24/7. All music genres. WNB1 radio. Your urban music link.
Welcome to WMB1 Radio and Straight to the Point Sports, where we're here on this lovely Thursday evening. And I am flanked by my regular cohorts, Steve Lopes and Derek Consacio.
What up, everybody? Feels like summertime out here.
Yes, yes, we are in the midst of a mini heat wave, which is kind of wild because for this time of year, we don't usually get this hot, but people are loving it. So I guess we'll have to take it. Guess we'll have to take it.
Unless you sleep over and get there early.
Guess we'll have to take it. But yeah, so we have come to the end of the NBA season, and of course, it's been culminated with the Boston Celtics championship. Boop, boop, boop,
Congratulations, Boston Celtics.
Yes.
Congrats, fellas.
It's been a long time coming. 15 years?
It didn't seem like it was that long. I felt like Garnett and Pierce were playing like 8 years ago or so.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been quite a minute.
That numerology
2 years
thing
ago
killed me.
Oh yeah, with the 617.
617.
617. Yeah.
Who figures that out? But
yeah, I know.
Kind of crazy.
But yeah, so the Celtics ended up winning 4-1, and as luck would have it, the parade is tomorrow.
Hey, who called? Said it was going to end in 5. Do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
No, I don't remember.
I said 6.
Steve
doesn't
said
matter.
7.
Steve said what?
Steve said Dallas with 7. I still, what still blows my mind is watching a lot of these analysts that jumped on.
A lot of you posted something about that. A lot of people picked Dallas.
A lot of them picked
because
Dallas.
they were playing well up until the finals.
Yeah, but I mean, it was really simple for me. Once the two superstars cross each other out, then once you get after that, we were way deeper than them. So that's
we thought
why
Porzingis would do his thing, but I didn't think Drew Holiday and Derek White would be as dominant as they were.
them guys they were consistent throughout the whole
But
year.
on
that's
both
all
ends.
you needed. But that's all you
They
needed.
played defense.
That's
Yeah.
all. That's all you needed, though. That's all you needed.
They were
was
big factors in neutralizing Kyrie.
Consistency. Well, I said this. I said a lot of people were like, "Oh, they got the best." I said, but a lot of people aren't factoring. We've got 2 big guards who are both second team all NBA defense, and a lot of people just glanced over that because they were so caught up in Kyrie, Luka, best backcourt ever.
Because of how Kyrie looked against the other teams that didn't have defensive stoppers, he looked unstoppable.
But this is what I said in the West. None of those teams,
and old Mike Conley,
none of those teams were built the way the Celtics were built, and that was my major gripe. And like I said, once I looked down, even though a lot of people were like, "Oh, the Celtics don't have a bench," they don't have a bench. Those guys, those guys all year, talking about Hauser and Pritchard, they did what they needed to do. They came in. Oh, during the regular season, yes, they did. You must not watch Celtics games, bro.
I saw plenty of zeros and plenty of bad shooting nights, but every once in a while, like I'd say,
the Celtics
half the time they played good, but there was other times where they were.
I don't like I said. I don't know what y'all watching. This Celtics,
they were the best team in the league all year.
I said wire from wire, wire to wire. So we'll get into the stats later, but we'll discuss that point because that's a point of emphasis for me. A lot of people harped on their bench, and their bench was pretty good during the regular season. During the postseason, they were subpar, but during the regular season, they were very good. I've got stats to prove that. Also, we'll talk about JJ Redick, hot off the presses, hired as the
that's a LeBron.
LeBron made a great hire.
He sure did
for himself.
That's his. Them two
he named himself the coach.
They have a podcast together.
I know.
Yeah,
that was discussed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's another. To me, it's another bad move. Mm-hmm. Another guy who has zero coaching experience. And just because he was the lead analyst on the final show and a podcast.
That don't make you a basketball coach.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
And he's only a few years removed from his own playing.
It does. NBA basketball coach at that.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. Also, we'll talk about Monty Williams being fired by the Pistons. 2 years now.
Bad luck.
2 years in a row. So 2 years. So remember, as a coach, you've got guaranteed money.
53, I think.
No, it was more than that. It was like 70 something million dollars.
I thought
he had like 2 5-year contracts.
I thought
yes,
and he only did 1 year. He had a 6-year contract in Detroit.
Yes,
the highest paid coach in the league.
But you're forgetting. You're also forgetting about
the other team had to pay
about Phoenix too.
Yeah, Phoenix had to pay him.
So
but that's not like if you get a new job, then they're only responsible for a certain amount.
No, their money is guaranteed. Coaching is guaranteed.
Wow.
So if you like, say for instance, JJ Redick agreed to a 4-year deal. He's getting paid that 4 years. Come hell or high water, he's getting paid that in 4 years. There's nothing in the contract.
So now, like Darvin Ham's gonna get his money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everybody in Detroit that's had one and done has guaranteed money.
Yeah, you get guaranteed.
You're paying
money.
like 3-4 coaches at one time.
I don't know of any coach who has if you're fired, you're only going to get paid up until you're fired. No.
Yeah, because there's no signing bonuses, no upfront money. You get it every year. It's a 5-year contract. Yeah. I'm getting paid 5 years.
Yeah. So Monty Williams once again fired by the two teams in 2 years. But once again, good money.
He's got to be doing something off the books.
Well, we'll talk about it. A recap in the week of boxing. Tank Davis, KO win.
And now you got all these other guys looking for that cash cow.
Pretty much did what we thought he would do. It took a little longer, but he did what he was supposed to do. And also the passing of an iconic baseball player,
one of the best,
Willie Mays,
to do it.
Passed away a couple of days ago. And I'm wondering and waiting to see if the Major League Baseball is gonna do anything on his behalf.
Oh, they will. Sure.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to see.
All eras talking about, you just don't understand until like how we feel about Jordan.
Yeah.
I never got to see Willie Mays play. He retired in 1975 or something like that, 1973, something like that. But I've always heard about him from the time I started, but I never got to put eyes on him like these kids that saw Kobe and LeBron.
Yeah.
That's the best thing I can assume, but I'll always give him his credit.
Yeah, that's why when people talk about the GOATs, I don't think that if you speak on it and you didn't see them people play, I don't think you should be in that discussion.
Yeah, they should do it by categories. Like
you shouldn't be in a discussion.
The 1940s to 1970s.
I can't speak on Bill Russell because I never witnessed him play.
Me neither.
That's why I never
had an argument with Paul Paris all the time. Yeah. None of us saw him play, including him.
Yeah, that's what aggravates me with.
Yeah, you're going by another man's written interpretation of it.
Don't get me wrong. I like his passion, but the way he goes about it. But then the way he comes at you, and like with all these,
you don't know what you're talking about.
You never even watch a dude play. You're just going off.
And there was only 13 teams in the league and no free agency.
Yeah. So
and everybody else was 6'3".
So I don't believe that we should talk about it. Anybody should talk about something that they did not witness.
One of the greats to suffice for me.
You just can't. You can't give. You can't give an accurate account of it. What you read and everything, that's fine and everything, but there's more to that.
That's probably one of the few sports that hasn't changed as drastically as like football and basketball. The rules have changed so much in those two. Baseball's been pretty natural. There's been some minor things here and there, but when you look at his stats, 660 home runs and 304 batting average.
Hold on about that.
Before
they say 660 home runs for Willie Mays. He missed 2 years
for the
service.
It's like Michael Jordan,
and he was averaging 40 home runs a year. He would have beat Babe Ruth's record before Hank Aaron.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
All right, so we'll talk about our first subject. Remember, if you're out there watching, feel free to chime in. If you have anything that you want to add to the discussion, or something that we might get wrong, because we're not always right. Lord knows. Just tap in.
First time I was wrong in my prediction.
Tap in.
Finals.
Tap in, and let us know. The number is at the bottom. It's 774-425-2631. That is the number. Let's just change that right here.
Put it on the comments.
No, we have a really Charlie podcast. This is Straight to the Point Sports. But yeah, so tap in. You can call us live, and we'll talk about it. So our first discussion, obviously, the Boston Celtics captured their 18th title, and in the process, they become the number one franchise with the most championships at 18, one up on the Lakers. It actually feels good. Because there's a lot Lakers of we've got, they've been saying it for years, and we've been pretty much dormant for years, almost a century, basically a decade and a half. But the Celtics win 4-1. There's a lot of as far as the game went, the Celtics, game 4 in Dallas, I think they kind of, they
took their foot off the gas.
Their foot was never on the gas.
I think the NBA twisted their arm to make a 5th game.
It was never on the gas. I think they just walked in basically satisfied and knowing that, okay, we're going to return to Boston and we're going to seal the deal. I mean, I don't like that. I think whenever you have a chance to finish someone off, I think you should, because you could run into a situation like the Golden State Warriors ran into with the Cleveland Cavaliers. As luck would have, depending on which side you're looking at with luck, but bad luck for the Warriors, good luck for the Cavs. Draymond Green gets suspended.
Yep.
All right, that's just like someone being hurt. But even worse, because he can't play. And then the momentum shift starts to swing. And then once momentum goes, look what we got going on right now with hockey.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Once the momentum swings, it's hard to get it back. So me personally, I think if you have a chance to close someone out, you need to do it. But they came back to Boston. They handled business. Game 5 was pretty much over by mid first quarter.
Yeah,
the Celtics came out and they pinned the Airs back. And the defensive, what I loved was the defensive intensity. It was right there. I mean, they were in guys' jerseys, literally picking them up baseline to baseline. They didn't make anything easy. And as a result, obviously Kyrie, ever since Kyrie's done stomped on the leprechaun, he's just been trash in Boston.
He hasn't won in Boston.
He hasn't won. He's 0-16. 0-16 in Boston. And actually,
didn't he win with New Jersey? That's when he stomped on the
court. No, they lost.
They lost.
No. They won. They won. It was his first year with them. They won, and then they came back. They came back, and the 2 years later, and the Celtics swept them. And then from that point where they got swept, he's never won in Boston. Never won in Boston. So yeah, they basically pinned their ears back, and they just the defense translated into offense. Nothing was more evident than when they went for that scramble. Derek White went to the ground. Lost his chipped tooth.
As Jaylen Brown said to him when he looked at him in the face, "Damn, you look ugly." He had one chipped tooth. 2 of them were loose, like facing different directions.
Yeah,
no, I chipped a tooth. That's hard to play with, because every time you inhale, you feel like that cold sensation. I don't know how he played the rest of the game and was so calm about it.
He didn't even come out the game. They called a timeout
because he had bloody nose.
Because he had blood everywhere, his lip, everything. Basically it was like going into a cut corner.
That adrenaline.
And came out, and then two series later came, hit a corner 3, looked at the bench and said, "F those teeth." Which was great.
Turned into a hockey player.
But yeah,
all the
yeah,
Bobby
yeah.
Orr stuff up there, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be Bobby Orr tonight."
You know, you know, in looking at the series as a whole, you know, like I said, I hate to be redundant, but I thought that the Jays and Kyrie and Luka would cancel one another out. That didn't even come remotely close. You know, game Kyrie actually had a good game 3.
That's it.
And that was it.
I didn't think that Kyrie and Tatum got off to a slow start and picked it up like game 3 or something like that. But the first 2 games, Tatum wasn't playing well. Kyrie wasn't playing well.
I wouldn't even say Tatum got off to.
It was just Luka and
I wouldn't say
Jaylen Brown.
He had a slow start.
See, this is what people get everything mixed up. He had a off shooting night, but he did everything else well.
Yo, he led the team.
He led everything.
He
ended up being their leading scorer.
Rebounder, assist,
yeah.
He led it every
only 3 guys in the history or
Yes.
4 guys in the history of the league have led their team in every category and not won MVP.
Yeah.
But I attribute that to the defense. Jaylen Brown took it as a personal vendetta. He didn't even want to come out of the game until Luka come out of the game at the end of the games. If Luka stays, Luka stays in, I stay in.
Yeah,
he goes to the bathroom, I go with him.
But my thing, Luka still averaged like 30 something.
But he works for it.
No, I'm not
and he
saying
wasn't getting other people involved. He was selfish with it.
But that's the way he played out the whole series.
It was a volume thing.
He played that the whole playoff.
Right.
The whole playoffs he did that.
Well, now he got people involved in the Western Conference series.
And that was the difference.
Those alley-oops.
He didn't get
the role players looking
in the
better.
first two games, he had 10 assists. Yeah. That's only 5. Well, he was almost averaging a triple double.
Yeah.
He was having in the Western
Conference,
in the Western
guys
Conference,
weren't getting lobs.
He was averaging almost that per game.
Yeah. In the Western Conference, he was looking like the best player in basketball.
Yeah. But the thing is, once you the Celtics, I think Jaylen Brown did it really well in going at him. Whoever got the ball, sink him out, because
he was a liability.
He's a liability. And all you had to do literally was, even if you got into the paint and you swung the ball, he wasn't rotating 9 out of 10 times. He wasn't rotating. He would just, the only game that he rotated was that game 4. Other than that, he was just like kind of watching the ball, watching the ball. Yeah, exactly.
He had the rest.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, what are you going to give up? You're going to give up, you're going to put out maximum of effort on the offensive end, but we're not going to let you rest, because we're coming straight at you.
Yeah,
we're coming straight at you. And there wasn't enough participation from the other guys as far as people adding support and making points.
And that was a big difference. He wasn't allowed to make the middle of the road guys look better than they did, like he did in all those other series. Derrick Jones looked better, Lively looked better, Gafford looked better. They didn't look that good against the Celtics
because they weren't giving up the alley-oop.
Exactly.
And they weren't. And with Porzingis there the first couple of games, they couldn't penetrate because he was around to bother their shots.
The thing with the alley-oops is most of the teams, I should say all of the teams that they play against, didn't have the ability to play one-on-one. So you needed help. Yep. The difference with the Celtics is all 5 guys can pretty much move their feet and slide. So it's like, okay, if you beat me, you know what? Kudos to you. We'll live with that, but you're not getting other people involved. And that's where it came.
Even if they had a switch off, their guys are 6'5".
They're on they're
only 2 inches shorter than Luke, and they're strong guys, so they're not giving away a lot. Everybody on their team was a defensive stalwart.
Yeah. And it, like I said, it just was the Celtics imposed their will on them. They imposed their will, right from the beginning, game 1. This is what it's going to be like. And this is how it's going to be. And the crazy part about it is the Celtics shot below their normal shooting percentage. They shot below their normal. They didn't have one game where they went off for, 20-something 3-pointers. They shot well below their
they held
their
Dallas
average.
under 100
every game.
Yeah.
Every game. So, that's another thing. So that was the thing. They shot well beneath their regular percentage. and they still managed to win by, overall by double digits. Which is wild. Which tells you that
defense.
they didn't even, it's defense. And like I said, they didn't even max out. And still yet they didn't have Porzingis too.
Yeah.
So there was a lot left on the table. Just imagine it had he played all 5 games. Just imagine.
And coming off the bench too.
Yeah.
That makes it
a
big difference.
So case in point, Al Horford had to log in 30 plus minutes.
Al Horford played his ass off.
And Al Horford is coming back next year.
You got to play?
No.
Not retiring?
That was something that surprised me.
No.
Because
he got
they need to come up with money for Derek White. And I thought him retiring.
He's going to take, they already said it, that he's going to take a team-friendly deal.
Yeah.
Derek's
got to get more money.
He got an $8 million bonus for winning the championship.
Yes.
And he's played 17 years already. He's not hurting.
Right?
This will be his 18th coming up.
All right.
Yeah. He is literally, he did so many things that you didn't see that weren't up front, But it's amazing to watch somebody at his age be able to slide his feet. I can't tell you how many times guys thought that they had easy layups.
Yeah.
Just swat. But like I said, I just, I was a firm believer in, what, once you get past the 2 superstars, everything else was a mystery. Everything else was a mystery.
Now, granted, Celtics won 4-1. Do you think that it would have been a better series if Denver had made it?
It would have been a better series if Denver or Minnesota would have made it.
I think definitely Denver. I think the Celtics would have figured out Minnesota just like they figured out Dallas.
Yeah, well, so I'll give you okay, we'll talk about that. So the games in which they played, Denver was 2-0. They beat them by a grand total of 7 points.
Yeah.
Okay, they beat them. They lost to in Denver by 2 and in Boston by 5.
Yeah.
All right. In a Minnesota split. One game, Minnesota beat us in overtime. We actually blew that game. That was the foul game where Jaylen Brown got fouled and they didn't call it.
Yeah.
He got hit while he was taking a shot. Then they came down. They hit a 3-pointer. But the second game they blew them out. I think they blew them out by almost 30 points. But I think that Denver would pose a better because
they'd been there.
They got the kicker is Joker.
Okay, she's a tough match.
It would be almost impossible for anyone from the Celtics to play him. So that's a mismatch. I don't think that Minnesota has anybody where you're going to say, okay, well, we can't play you. And to Minnesota's point, they would have been neutralized because the Celtics play 5-0. So guess what? Gobert can't stay in the middle. He can't stay in the middle.
He got exposed anyway.
Oh yeah. Pick and roll. You put him in a pick and roll, and
feet weren't quick enough.
He can't move his feet. But with the Celtics, they really would have made him pay because guess what? You got to come out. And once you come out, you ain't blocking nobody from the 3-point line.
And them guys shoot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Whether they make it or not, they shoot.
That's what I'm saying. When they played them the second game, that's what happened. 5 out. You know what? You're not getting any blocks because we're putting you right at the 3-point line. Yeah. And all they were doing was the same thing, pick and roll. And instead of like rolling, one guy would slide. You know what? You got to make up your mind. You got to either play that guy at the 3-point line or you got to play that guy going. You play that guy going, it's an easy kick out for a 3-pointer. And that's what happened when they played in the second game. They blew them out. And here we go again. It was like, okay, you can't even play him because he's now a liability, But yeah, I think either one of those teams would have been better. Denver was the only team all season that had the advantage. They beat every other team or at least split with them in the Western Conference. It was like I said, they lost to OKC, then they blew OKC out. They lost to Minnesota, then when they came to Boston, they blew them out. It's it's one of those things. But getting back to Boston, I put the stats up there. A lot of people were saying, oh, they had the easiest route. Okay, they may have had the easiest route, but let's not forget what they did during the season.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. They led wide. It wasn't as if they were this surprise team that just came out of nowhere. All right, like the Mavs. The Mavs, who had the Mavs going to the finals? Did you have them going to the
I
finals?
had them in the middle of the pack with the Clippers, 4 or 5 seeds.
In the middle of the, in the middle of the season, they weren't even in the top 8.
No,
they got hot at the end of the year
When they made that
similar
trade.
to Miami
After they
in the
made that
East
trade.
last couple.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as if you could sit there and say
Yeah, they got Gafford and PJ Washington.
Yeah,
it wasn't
big on that team.
it wasn't and
Added defense.
and they beat and I'll tell you. So to give to my point, they beat Dallas both times, and they beat them the second time after the trade. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, they didn't beat them." Oh, yeah, no, they did. They beat them the second time. So the stats, I put them down, but I have to read them because a lot of people are like, and it's on these. And what kills me is the same people that are saying it. A lot of these people from ESPN, none of them picked the Celtics.
Yep.
None of them. All right, none of them. And they were like, "Well, they had the easiest road." Is that your excuse for making the wrong pick?
No, but I think that was part of it. But I think the other thing is we've seen the Celtics look great, but never finished the deal, whether it be lack of confidence in Missoula or the Jays stepping up in big moments. There was other aspects we saw in the past. I think the Celtics grew up. I think they learned a lot from that Golden State experience in the championship, and everything came together at the right time. But right now, I don't know whether to give more credit to the players, the coaching staff, or the front office. But I'm leaning toward Brad Stevens as being the real MVP. Not to take nothing away from the other two areas, but I got a little thing right here that I just want to read. The moves that the Celtics made.
Oh, yeah. I know about the moves.
And I was like, everything he touched, he had the Midas touch. Traded Kemba Walker for Al Horford. We know how that turned out.
And let me remind you. So when he traded for Al Horford was simmering on the bench.
Yep.
In
contemplating
OKC. He was getting DNPs.
Yep.
And you know what they listed him as? How disrespectful. Old.
Yeah.
Old. That's how disrespectful that was.
But then he stayed fast because there was a lot of talk. We all talked about it, whether you break up the Jays. He decided to keep them together. Man. He traded Romeo Langford for Derek White.
Yep. Which was
he's Danny Ainge Jr. getting steals.
Which was a low-key, but great move.
Here's one that really kills me too, even though all of them do. Traded Marcus Smart for Porzingis and 2 first-round picks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that for me, that trade was the only one that I questioned because the
injury factor.
Yes, because of the injury factor.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Because of the injury factor. And it ultimately came to fruition in the finals. Before the playoffs started.
But because of the other moves, they were able to absorb it a little better.
Yeah,
especially that last
you were deeper.
Brogdon and Williams for Holiday.
He played well. He played well in the regular season.
Yeah,
he played more games than I thought
he didn't break. He didn't have to do more than he was asked to. He didn't break down, but then at the end, he got the injury that affected him during the most important time.
But think about it, he's never played that long in any season that he
did. Any of us see Brad Stevens being this good of an executive? Because remember, he was the coach when Ainge was doing all those moves.
Yeah,
I think he was paying attention to Ainge, and I figured he said, "That's my calling." We all thought he left prematurely. I was like, "Ooh, he's stepping down and getting kicked up." I thought they just wanted to fire him, but not have him out of a job when they put him in the front office.
That's what I thought.
And he's done Danny Ainge Jr. He doesn't have the reputation yet, but after stuff like that,
after this,
when the phone rings, nobody's going to take his calls no more. What's he trying to jerk us out of now?
And that's what Danny did.
But assembling that type of team of selfless talent, as good as those players were individually, they all bought into the system.
Yeah.
And they did what they had to do to win, and they checked their egos at the door. I think that was that's one of the best front office jobs I've seen in any one season, period.
So some of the stats, okay, we'll first talk about the regular season, all right? A lot of records set. They won the Eastern Conference by 14 games, the largest NBA conference win since 1976.
The conference, not just the
conference. Conference.
14 games?
14 games.
That was larger than when the Bulls went.
Since 1976.
Wow, that's crazy.
All right, 14 games. All right, 11.3 scoring margin was the fifth best in NBA history. 15.22 scoring margin at home, third best in NBA history. 1.22 points per possession, best offense in NBA history. All right, 1,351 threes. Second most in NBA history, only to the Splash Brothers. 37 home wins, that's third in franchise. Most in the NBA in 8 years. Hold on, let's keep going. 37 home wins, third in franchise history, most in the NBA in 8 years. Won or tied season series with 28 of 29 teams. The one team was Denver. All right. NBA's best record 37-4, fewest losses 14, and best record in back-to-backs 12-2. All right. Clinched the playoff spot 17 days before any other team. 17 days before so 17 days before the number one team in the Western Conference. That's what it came down to. All right.
That Western Conference
So
1 through
tight.
4 was tight.
Well,
It was changing every day.
it doesn't make a difference. It's still a record. It's still a record.
4 good teams beating the hell out of each other.
Clinch
Something that
NBA's
shoulders above everyone.
Clinch NBA's best record before 12 teams clinched a playoff spot. Longest losing streak, 2 games. All right. More 30-point leads, 17, than 10-point deficits, 16.
And I bet you more below 30-point leads.
NBA
That used to drive me crazy watching them give up those big leads.
you only blow them when you lose, and they didn't.
Well, in years past, they blew them and lost.
Well,
This year,
we're talking about this year.
But that's one of the things that make non-Celtics fans question them, because they shoot themselves in the Achilles foot in past years. This year, they starved off. They still blew those leads.
I'm just talking about the regular season. So NBA record 10 30-point wins. NBA record 3 50-point wins. I thought it was 2. It was 3. 19 20-point wins, 120-point loss. Wire to wire wins 10, wire to wire losses 1. 1,182 opponent free throws, fewest in NBA history. All right, so we'll talk about the postseason records. All right, that was just the regular season records. Postseason. If I can make this thing bigger here. Second team in 16 win playoff era to only lose 3 playoff games. One of 8 teams in NBA history to outscore teams by 10 plus for the regular season and playoffs. 10.72 scoring margin is the 6th best in NBA history. 7th longest playoff win streak, 10 games. Never trailed a playoff series. 80 wins plus 79% win percentage, 9th best in NBA history. Those are just some of the records. Now, when people talk about this, is something that you had the easiest way. First and foremost, when you are the number 1 seed, right? You play obviously the 8th seed. All right. So as the playoffs progress, of course, there's going to be injuries. But what do you want to do? You want to play the teams that are less likely to get injured. All right. So let's look at okay, Cleveland. That injury was during the season. That was a lingering injury. Okay. Who did they beat in the second round?
Indiana.
Indiana. Well, they beat Miami in the first round.
Excuse me, Indiana in the first round.
No,
so
Miami in the first.
Miami in the first round.
Miami in the first
then
round.
Cleveland.
Then Cleveland.
Then Indiana.
So Miami, Jimmy Butler, same thing. Injury. Something that just kept going and it found its way. The first 2. So then
more than him.
So then. Well, we're talking about the superstar players. And then in the second round was who?
In the Cleveland.
Oh, Cleveland.
Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen didn't play at all.
Yeah, he had been hurt. He had been hurt the whole time.
It doesn't matter. He's part of their rotation. He's part of what makes them good.
I understand that.
But they didn't use him in the first round.
No, he didn't play.
All right,
he didn't play. So you can't even
use that
count
as an
him.
excuse.
No. I'm saying
You can't even count him. This is my point.
No, you can't.
This is
you
my
can't
point.
Use him as an excuse.
This is my point. A lot of people are like, oh, they didn't have the. That was something that happened. He had been a month prior too.
Yeah. He came back too early, and then he got hurt again.
His ribs. They were mad at him because they wanted. Yes, they wanted to give him. They wanted to give him a cortisone shot. He refused it.
Mm-hmm.
He refused it. That's not his fault. That's not their fault. I get it. All right. The third in the finals, Halliburton, another injury that he had just came back, something that just popped back up. But my point here is, you want to play the easiest teams, and you want to let the other teams beat each other up, and that's just what happened. Those other teams beat each other up, and by the time Boston got them, it was basically okay. Well, we're gonna do what we're supposed to do. We're gonna beat you. Unlike if you are someone like the Philadelphia 76ers, who barely squeaks in, now you have to play somebody, and your guy is already hurt. Your main guy is already hurt. Now you have to play against a good team. That's the reason why you play for the best record, because you're going to play those weaker teams. All right. And by the time you get to the second and third round, those teams that are in the middle are beating one another up. And that's one of my points right there.
Okay.
And you do what you're supposed to do.
Can I make a comparison?
I know you're going to say, you're going to say the Bucks.
And present company included, that was their argument of why the Bucks had an easy road to the championship.
I didn't.
Everybody got hurt. I remember the debates.
I said
but that debate's no good here.
I said it, but nobody was hurt. When you beat us, nobody was hurt for Boston. Oh no, we lost to Miami. They lost.
Yeah.
To Miami. That I'm confusing. But the bottom line is,
I just thought it was eerily similar to Milwaukee's run through the East. Nobody gave them credit because people were getting hurt. Key players were getting hurt. And that's all I heard from everybody.
And you took it. You said, hey, you're going to play what's in front of you.
That's right.
I said, there's nothing I can do about that.
You're going to play what's in front of you.
And I also felt very fortunate about that. Another 2 inches and that Kevin Durant shot was a 3-pointer, and that would have been a win.
Yeah.
But it was 2 inches short. It's a game of inches. It's a game of inches. But losing James Harden, losing Kyrie, I thought Brooklyn was the best team in the league that year, but they couldn't stay healthy. And then the next round, the same thing happened. When this happened this year, I was like, wow, this reminds me a lot of the Milwaukee series. A lot of they can't predict that these guys are going to get hurt, but they're getting hurt. But instead of people saying Milwaukee was the number 1 seed all year long, best record in the league, played the easy teams, that's what you play for the number 1 seed, the same argument Brian's making, but that wasn't the same love I was getting when they won it. But now we're using that same argument that I was trying to scream 3 years ago, and it's a different narrative.
I said a lot of that stuff. At the end of the day, you know what? Guess what? You won.
And so won. You guys, but I'm just saying it was eerily similar.
Yeah? You won.
Both teams still had to win and still had to go play in the West.
But okay, so you look at what you did, all right, and you look at what we did. We set records all season long. We led wire to wire. We set records. I just read them all. So it wasn't as if no one even, and as I told people, I don't care if Giannis was healthy, Milwaukee wasn't going to beat us. I don't care if Embiid was healthy, they weren't going to beat us. Those were the only two.
If Giannis and Middleton were healthy.
No. You guys struggled to play defense. Struggle.
That was true.
We would have sought your guy out, and we would have killed you on defense.
I like this better with Middleton and Holiday, and I love Dame, but I only loved him on offense.
I
felt like everything he gave us, he took away on defense.
I think Middleton's gone.
I think he's felt disrespected.
I think he's gone. I think he's gone.
100%.
I think he's gone. I think he's gone.
And maybe Bobby Portis.
I think he's gone. I think Portis will stay.
It was still a similar storyline.
Yeah.
You know? And they might have not have set the records, but they were the number 1 seed. They played for the right to play against the lower seeds.
And
they did what they had to do and beat those. And now when you have those injuries and you're healthy, and that's something I think Boston is so underrated on too. They stayed healthy. Porzingis got hurt, but The rest of that lineup was pretty solid. Those top 7 players were, I don't know if I've seen the first 7 players on a team be that compelling.
And you know what I like about it?
They were all capable of carrying the team on any night.
They didn't have the time off games. They didn't take too many time off games where they were just sitting out just to rest.
No.
The only time they took timeout games were back-to-backs. They saved Horford. And at the end of the season, when they had things wrapped up, they gave Tatum, they gave Brown. They rotated them. Yes, they rotated them.
In the middle of
but the only one who got time off was Horford.
Yeah, but
because of his age.
Yeah, but that's understandable. But the only thing that I think there's a reason to at least acknowledging that they played these teams that were shorthanded, that's why they were able to only drop 1 game each series. So they didn't get extended to 6 and 7 games like all the teams in the West who were beating each other up, because those top 4 teams are very even. Yep. So they were playing longer into each series, had more and more tear on them. And I think they ran out of gas when they went up against Boston, because they really had to fight tooth and nail to get there, and they didn't have nothing left.
I just don't think that they could match up with Boston.
No.
Well, they couldn't match up with Boston. Yeah. I still think the best matchup would have been Denver, but they lost. So Dallas got there. But I think Dallas, a long drawn-out series with the Clippers, a long drawn-out series with Minnesota.
Nah, they won 4-2 against them.
That's 6 games.
Yeah.
The Celtics only lost 1 game every series. So they were playing 5. They were playing 1 game a series more. But I just felt like when Boston was able to put teams away in 5 games, they were able to get that natural rest, and they were, and then they came back and didn't lose an ounce of intensity when the next series started. Boston's intensity, to me, was a big step up from what I've seen them in. Like, they really wanted to prove something this year.
Well, they had to.
Yeah,
because
money that's on
they had to, because all those records that I just read off would have meant nothing. You would have turned into the Golden State Warriors.
3-9.
Yeah, you would have turned into the Golden State Warriors. When you lead wire to wire, you have all those records regular season records that I just spit out. Then you would have been, and furthermore, like I said in the beginning of the year, if the Celtics do not win now, hypothetically speaking, let's rewind. If the Celtics would have lost the finals this year,
debate with the Jays
would have came up, and
the coach,
and the coach. But more importantly, Supermax rules. You cannot trade a player like he signs a Supermax. You got to wait 1 year to trade him. So this would have been the window. They would have been like, okay, Jalen, now the picture's changed, because Eastern Conference Finals MVP. All right. And he stepped up in a major way. And
the organization brought in a lot more money because of their championship.
Yeah. So now it's like, okay, now Tatum's going to reset the market. He's going to be the richest player. 315. Yes. So now these guys are locked in now pretty much until they hit 30. Okay. Unless something goes really bad where you're going to have to, they're going to be the mainstays, the foundation.
3 or 4 years of very high potential of winning another championship.
Well, so no, I wouldn't say I'm. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. All right, so this year is the 24-25 season is all set. It gets dicey once you hit the following season.
Derek White's
because
done.
Yes, Derek White. They're going to try to look to extend him. It depends.
That's when Horford will retire.
It depends. Yeah. It depends. Now, does he want to take a team-friendly deal, or does he want to get paid elsewhere?
I think he's the type that will take it.
Yeah, because he's not a.
He seems like he's
just make it fair.
Guy.
Make it fair.
Yeah. Seems like a team guy.
Especially if he wins another championship.
But now, so now you this is where you have to look at the guys who you drafted in the last 2 to 3 years. You're going to start losing guys. All right. You're going to start losing guys. This is where you look for these guys to step up, because if not, you're going to have to go. You're not going to have much money to pick from.
No.
All right. You're not going to have much money to pick from. You're only going to be able to literally pay guys a couple million dollars. All right. Now, who's going to take? You won't be worth jack in the buyout market. You're not going to be worth jack in the free agent market. These are all things you have to take into place.
How many years is Holiday?
He just got extended.
4 years.
He just got extended.
So they'll have a core.
Yes,
regardless.
those core. That's what I'm saying.
Porzingis has like 2 more years. Holiday got extended. White's the only one.
Yes, White.
And bringing
Next year,
Orphan
he's the year after next, he's a free agent. That's why I said it gets dicey, because now you'll have 2 guys that are free agent, that are potentially free agents, and you can't give them max money.
No,
you can't. There's no way you can give them max money. No, you can't. That's where it gets dicey. So I think their window literally is going to be next year. If they want to do something, then I think the following year, I think you're going to see potentially a different Celtics team. Because
don't they got a crap load of draft picks in the next couple of years too?
No, they don't.
They had
Utah does.
No, they all their draft picks have been given out.
And OKC.
Refresh my memory on this. In the NBA, you can't restructure your contract, or can you? Like in the NFL?
No. There is no
All
restructuring.
right.
You can only so in the NBA they have opt-outs. In the NBA you have opt-outs. So you have a team option. You can opt out. So who's the guy that got a team option this year? For Denver, Contavious Caldwell-Pope. They're expecting him to opt out. They're expecting to lose him. They're expecting to lose him.
Key to them this year.
Contavious Caldwell-Pope.
He plays defense.
And he hits a lot of
threes.
open shots. He has a team-friendly deal. A team option. He's expected to opt out and hit the free agent market. They're going to lose him. So Denver is pretty much in the same situation as Boston, because
the more you win,
Jamal Murray's
going
to sign a supermax deal, and they already got Jokic,
and then Michael Porter's creeping.
But yeah, he won't be a supermax guy though.
Who, Porter?
Yeah, no.
He don't be a
supermax. How many
supermax.
more years he got on his contract before if he has 2 more years, he might develop into a third. Because all you got to do is 13.
I don't think he'll make.
Yeah, I don't think. Nah, I don't know. No.
It's just for the simple fact he's got
Joker, and
you got
2 other guys ahead of him.
Yeah, they take
Yeah.
care of each other.
Yeah. So
No, he's like the Derek White of like the Celtics.
Very
You just
capable
gotta-
on his own
you gotta.
right he
But
has
if he
to
can make it on the defensive end like them guys made it,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So thinking about it, right? Derek White can, if he wants, he can sign a max deal. He can sign a super max deal.
for making
Second team. All you gotta do is
Defense?
make one of the 3.
one time.
on defense.
Yes.
Oh,
Within
wow.
2 years, though. Within 2 years, he hit the benchmark. He hit the benchmark. He can go and make a supermax deal if he wants to go to another team.
Except they can only offer him 1 year less than the team he's currently on. Right?
Yes.
That's the difference. You can get 5 years if you stay. They're trying to get people to stay with
Yes.
their original teams.
Yeah.
So you don't got the super team thing. But somebody like the Knicks or somebody who's on the cusp at the time could turn around and say, "We'll give you $70 million a year."
Like Philly.
So
They have the money.
I think Philly's going to
So-
do like that this year.
They have the money.
So I heard Derek saying that, and you saying about the MVP thing
For
the finals. All right.
I
So
I was a Tatum guy. I thought Tatum was going to get it.
so
I
hold
thought
on.
Brown did it consistently, and I think his defensive intensity is what gave him the edge. It wasn't drastically different, but I watched what he did to frustrate Luka Doncic, and that's why I thought he got the edge.
All right. So that there's 11 guys who vote. Okay.
I didn't know that.
There's 11 guys who vote. I have the results right here. All right.
Sports writers.
Yes, it's sports writers. I only recognize 1, 2. I only recognize 2 people on this list.
In my opinion.
Okay. I'll read their names. All right.
Read mine.
Sam Amick from The Athletic, Malika Andrews.
Wow.
Yeah.
Much love.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Tim Bontemps, ESPN, Doris Burke.
All right.
All right.
Two girls.
PJ Carlesimo. That's it.
Wow.
What's his role?
ESPN Radio.
I thought he only had something to do with the Olympic team.
No, ESPN Radio.
Wow.
Yes. Mike Curtis. I've heard of him. Dallas Morning News. Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. Sean Powell, NBA.com. Simone Sandri, LA Gazette del Sporto, Italy, from Italy.
Italy.
I
Yeah.
only know the two girls, Malika Andrews.
Gary Washburn, Boston Globe, and Jeff Zilgett, USA Today. All right.
Zilgett, I think I've heard of.
All right. So I'm going to name the people who picked Jason Tatum. Sam Amick from The Athletic, Malika Andrews, obviously from ESPN, Tim Bontemps, ESPN.com, Doris Burke, ABC, PJ Carlissimo, from ESPN Radio.
They picked who?
They all picked Jason Tatum.
That's 5. So I mean,
All right.
That's 6.
I knew it was a hair decision.
Yo, I should have been co-MVPs.
So Jalen had Mike Curtis, Vince Goodwill, Sean Powell, Simone Sardri, Gary Washington, and Jeff Ziglet.
None of them we heard of.
All right. So that was the difference.
Malika Andrews and PJ Carlissimo.
And
a little bit with Zoe.
And Wendy. So I stayed up till probably like so what happens is it gets changed every year.
Oh
no, it's not like these people it gets changed every year.
That's good and bad.
All right. So no one person gets to stay on, on the panel for multiple years. So I watched I literally watched ESPN that night probably to about 2:30 in the morning, and I was watching all the different interviews, and I kept switching back from ABC to the Boston Celtics network. I kept going back and forth. NBC Boston. I kept going back and forth because NBC Boston had the interviews inside the locker room.
Yeah.
They had the the home team and everything that was inside. So I happened to switch back over to ESPN, and they were interviewing Windhurst. No, what's his name?
Brian Windhorst.
Yeah, they were interviewing him, and he's the one who explained the process. He said, and they said, "How is the process done?" He said, "It's old school fashion. We do it old school fashion way. We all text the commissioner with our vote. There's no ballot that they sign.
The commission is correct.
There's no
how the hell are these votes?
There's no ballot that is because they give
and it's 11. So it's 11. So they can't.
So
it can't be.
Well, they talked about it. They said if one person had said Drew Holiday, now you would have had a tie.
That would have been cold.
It would have been cold.
And that was possible.
Yeah. Well, that's what they said. That's what they said.
Right, but I thought Drew had a little bit better series.
So they said so Wendy explained the process, and he said I didn't have a vote. He said I 2 years ago I had a vote when they lost to Golden State. He said I had a vote then. He said that was really easy. There was no, it wasn't, questionable like this one was, because it was just one player that played out of his mind. But he gave the whole process. He broke it down, and he said, this is how they do it. It's old school fashion. Once you're named, you get an official letter, and it has the commissioner's phone number.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the game, you old fashioned, you just text the name of the person, and then it goes in there, and then it's made public. Yeah. So there isn't no, like you said, the commissioner, screw these. You get to see who voted and how they voted. But he brought up that he said, well, what if one all it would have taken was one person to say Drew Holiday, now you would have had co-MVPs. And it's never happened before. They've had an MVP from a losing team, which was Jerry West.
But I'm sure it was different.
Well, I don't know. They didn't go into it.
They didn't text him.
They didn't text him.
Email him.
So he explained the whole process, and I found it interesting. Like I said, no one person stays on it in multiple years. So next year you have a whole different 11 people. So there's no favoritism. There's no whatever corrupt. So it's always different. But I found it interesting. Like he said, had somebody said, which could have been possible, Drew Holiday, now you have co-MVPs. But
somebody on that voted for Brown.
Yeah. So now that's the way I had Brown because of the fact of what he did. Number one, he was more efficient. he was more efficient in his shooting and what he did on the defensive side of the ball. He had the biggest assignment. Did he stop Luka Doncic? Nope, but he slowed him the hell down. And the last game, he really frustrated him. Game 5, he really frustrated him.
My thing is Tatum did everything.
Oh, he did.
Not just a little.
He did.
He
did everything, but his shooting percentage started off slow, and that's what put him behind. But Brown never let up.
But his shooting percentage started off slow, but he was 1 rebound off from a triple-double.
I get it. I'm saying he dominated in other areas.
What really helped him was those last 2 games.
Yeah.
So excuse me, not the last 2 games. Game 3 and game 5. Those games really helped him because prior to that,
yeah, because 4 he didn't play as much.
No, 4 no one played.
Yeah,
no one played well. No one played.
I thought it was 2
They
games
took
in
them
a row,
out in
but
the
I
fourth
forgot
quarter.
about 4.
They took them out in the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Losing by 30.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, yeah. What do you want to leave people in there? But I think game 3 and game 5, he really padded his stats up. Game 3, he had 30. He led 31 points. Brown
With a
had
good
30.
shooting percentage.
And then game 5, he had he was pretty efficient because he didn't settle for a lot of shots outside. But it brought his shooting percentage way up.
Going to the basket, he's one of the most top 3 unstoppable. That's why I get frustrated saying, why don't you do more of what you dominate at? Why do you settle for that 3 so much?
He's 6'10"
with handle
ability.
With handle and quick.
Yeah.
Him and Kevin Durant, the only people I know that were that height that could handle the ball and get their shot anywhere on the court they wanted. But he's more athletic than Kevin Durant to me. He had more hops, quicker.
He's stronger.
Oh yeah, way stronger. He's way bigger.
Yeah,
way bigger. Kevin Durant it uses more skill to get to his spot. Where if Tatum needs be, Tatum will put the shoulder into you.
Yeah, he settles for the step back 3 too much.
Yeah, he fell in love with it.
Yeah,
and I was just like, there's plenty of other people on that team to hit the threes, but you go. And you know something? I always say this. He never had that problem until he got blocked at the rim by Bam Adebayo. And I don't know if mentally that stuck in his head. That's never going to happen to me again because he wasn't going to the basket as aggressively. That Miami series, that was the right move. Bam just made a greater play. That was a great play by Tatum. Yeah. But Bam just made a once in a lifetime. He had like 2 fingers on the ball. I remember it was just enough to alter the shot. But Jason Tatum made the right play. But Bam made a greater play. And then it seemed like his confidence on going to the basket. He said, I'll just rely on the 3 or I'll pull up more. And I was like, why?
Even if you pull up from
the elbow.
Yeah.
You're going to get fouled. Jason Tatum's the type that you're not going to stop him. And then once you drive enough, people are going to start slacking off you, and he won't have to step back and take the 3. He'll already be wide open. People will be like, oh, I don't want him beating me to the basket. He'll just line it up.
Did you see the thing of Porzingis making fun of his form? Jason Tatum shooting form? They had something on, it was on Facebook the other day. It was during shoot around, and Porzingis is just messing around doing this. This shit was hilarious.
So we know obviously we're only a couple of days removed from Boston winning. If you had to give a percentage on them for a repeat, what would it be?
High, just like it's been every year for the last 4 years. Whoever's won has been expected to have
it's got to be around 70.
But Boston's core, it's 7 deep, and if they keep them, nobody's had that many players to come back.
So the only person that's a free agent currently is Luke Cornett.
Yeah, he's replaceable.
Yeah, he's definitely replaceable.
I don't think they'll have money to go get any free agents.
This is my thing. If
they got to go with that same roster,
if Porzingis comes back, he's not even getting off the bench.
Huh? Oh, Cornett's not getting off.
Yeah.
I heard you say Porzingis not getting off the bench. I was like,
I said
sometimes they play with a double big, and when they do double bigs, Cornett played a lot. It depends on who. Like when they played against Minnesota, sometimes they would switch it up and they would play double bigs, just for a short period of time. It's always good to have 2 7-footers in there.
And I would like to see one more depth person added as a big to relieve not only Porzingis' time, but Horford.
Oh yeah.
So somebody who can spill both of them so that their minutes come down 5 to 7 minutes a game, then it makes it a lot easier throughout the course of the year. 5 to 7 minutes a game is a lot when you're 38 years old. It's a lot when you got chronic feet problems and leg problems, But if they can get Porzingis and Horford natural rest with somebody else, if Cornett can either step up or somehow they acquire somebody who's just good enough I don't think Brissett's that dude. When they traded for him, I said, maybe he'll get an opportunity.
Brissett's not a big guy.
No, he's
not?
No.
6'7", if
No.
that.
Oh,
No, he's more of a power forward.
Yeah, I thought,
but he's
6'9".
undersized.
Nah,
The other
he
dude that they
better
got there, Quandra, or whatever his name is,
the big dark skinned dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's more of a center, but
Yeah,
he's
7 foot.
he's a little bit of a project. But so wasn't Cornette. You know, a lot of people laughed, but he stepped in and he played pretty good. Once he played with those core guys, it looked like he was okay.
Well,
always playing with whenever you're playing with guys that are
you're
good,
the weakest link. There's not going to be too much attention on you.
No.
You're going to get a lot of wide open shots,
Exactly.
which is what I thought Luka and Kyrie created up until the Boston series. Their supporting cast was a lot better. And then I don't know if they ran out of gas with Boston style of defense about the man-to-man and not switching, but the complementary players did not complement the team.
Well, the thing is,
and then Kyrie fell off.
Well, the thing is, it's easy to hit an open jump shot. It's a lot harder to create your own shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
But people are expecting you to shoot it.
Yeah. Can you like Derek Jones? The dude cannot do anything off the dribble.
He's an athlete.
He's gonna catch those. He's gonna catch those alley oops. He's going to in transition. He's gonna do stuff. But you know something?
He'll hit the open shot.
Yeah. Oh, he's got an ugly shot.
Oh, it's awful.
It's a screwball. It's
awful, but he'll hit it though.
He didn't hit it against
Boston.
Boston.
What's his name?
He didn't have too many open shots.
What's his name that they got in the trade? PJ. I thought he was a better contributor. Than Whitman.
Gafford?
No, the other kid, the shooter. 25.
The one that
Washington.
PJ Washington.
Yeah.
And then old friend who we saw in the Celtics locker room after the celebration. And who's the guy that got traded? Grant Williams.
He got traded from. He got traded. And then he went. And then he got kicked. He got kicked out off of Dallas.
Oh, he wasn't on their team.
Nah, he was getting a ring regardless.
He got kicked off of Dallas.
He's on both teams.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't on the Celtics team.
He got traded last year.
No, he got traded last year. Yeah.
Trade deadline.
Yeah, he got traded last year. No, he got traded last year.
So you think
actually he was a free agent. I'm sorry, he didn't get traded. He was a free agent. He went to Dallas as a free agent. He was their number one free agent this year. And they were like, you know what? We're done with you because you are not a good teammate in the locker room.
Yeah. So what's the number you give him? Because just like Denver last year, we had Denver repeating, we had Golden State repeating. But
there's been a different champ for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Last 6 years.
We always give the champ the benefit of the doubt that they're going to come back next
like
year.
65 to 70%.
I'll say it's even higher than.
Well, they're the favorites.
If they stay healthy.
They are the favorites right now.
And I think Denver has to be a close second.
Yeah, Denver is second. Denver's second.
We have to wait to see the offseason moves.
It went Dallas, Denver.
Dallas before Denver.
Boston.
Excuse me. It went Boston, Denver, Minnesota, Dallas. Who's the other?
That'd be somebody else in the West.
Yes, it was
OKC.
Yes, it was OKC.
They were the fifth team.
And then there was the Eastern team in there. I want to say Knicks. That's what it was.
Well, they got to sign OG.
Yeah.
And they got to figure out the Julius Randle situation.
They got to keep him.
If I'm the Knicks, I'm keeping him till the play I'm letting it play out because you haven't seen him play with Brunson and with OG.
And if the big man Mitchell Robinson can stay healthy,
listen, all they have to do is, if I'm the Knicks, I wouldn't do anything drastic.
No,
I would let it play out, and then when the trade deadline comes, then you fix it. All right, you've got money to go out and get a guy, but you know something? Let it go out, get a free agent, then let it play out.
They're saying
don't
they need
do
somebody
anything
who can hit the jump shot consistently. Yeah. And I keep hearing Paul George's name going back and forth between the Knicks and Philly, as he would fit in perfect. Philly has all the money to do it.
Yeah,
Maxi's still on a rookie contract.
He's going to go to one of those two teams. He's going to one of those two teams,
and he'll draft because he's a catch and shoot guy, and he's a defensive guy too. So
he's long.
Yeah, but
if I'm
been in the league 14 years.
If I'm the Knicks, I don't do well. You got to remember the first part of his career with Indiana. You got to remember too is with the Knicks. Don't do anything crazy.
Nope.
You've got a good team. You just were hurt.
Yeah.
Don't
Find
try
a
to do
good role player
too
who can shoot
much.
it.
Don't try to do too much too soon. Everybody was saying, oh, all these Knicks fans were like, we don't want Randall. Guess what? If Randall were healthy,
It's a different story.
He's a problem. You got to account for him on the court. He's the down low threat.
like I told
Put him
Chaco,
and Brunson on the same side of the court.
listen, like I told Chaco, the Knicks, the Lakers thought he was garbage. What happened? He goes to the Knicks and he becomes an all-star. All right. Don't do the same thing. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Don't do it. Let it play out. Okay. You've got three months before you have to make a decision. Okay. You're talking like almost 40 games.
What it was the championship game, the last game. He was on the broadcast, whatever, on the thing after the game.
Finals. Yeah.
And they were talking about bringing the Celtics winning it again next year. He said, hold up, I'm not on that board yet. I'm still with the Knicks. So I don't know about that one.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing you're supposed to say.
Yeah, of course.
That lets people know he wants to stay in New York.
Yeah.
If they'll have him.
Yeah. The Knicks fans are all over him. They
he had them in the palm of his hands until he got mad at the fans for booing him.
Yeah.
Never recovered from that.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough market. It's a tough market to play in. It's a major market. It's a major market, but don't do anything. Don't make an emotional thing like because this year is this year. Start off fresh, get in there, do what you got to do. We seen what Brunson we can do. So you get him back in there. Hart comes off the bench now.
Yep.
All right.
That only makes your team stronger.
Exactly. So you don't want to do anything overly crazy. I think getting rid of an all-star, if you get rid of that all-star, you better get one back.
Yeah,
that's the way how I look at it. Don't go.
What piece would you try to upgrade if you were the Knicks?
Shooting.
And I think somebody to come in for Brunson, like somebody to be the point guard when he's out of the game.
Shooting. Well,
yeah, but
you got to get one or the other.
What is it, Da Vinci or whatever?
DiVincenzo.
He can play the one,
but he's a natural.
He's a shooter. Yeah, he's a
but
shooter.
I'm saying with Brunson if they take Brunson,
if they take him out, I think he loses his aggressiveness because now he has.
Yeah, now you have to take the ball up too.
But that's where that other shooter comes in that you pick up.
Well, I think they could get.
They got that. What's the other kid's name there?
The lefty.
Yeah, what's his name? No.
Oh no, that Shepard was in
the backup.
Yeah, the backup. He looks like
I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember his name right now. They did something on him on TikTok, going to fans. Hey, do you know this guy that plays with Nick? Whatever his name was. They're like, nope. So then,
I don't think he's a backup. I mean, not every backup's going to come in and give you 15
solid.
and 50. Yeah,
he's solid.
Yeah,
I
think
he's not going to lose you the game.
And I think with another year under his belt, you only get better. But yeah, I wouldn't make too many changes if I was them. All right, let's move on from the Celtics. We'll go with JJ Redick, new coach of the Lakers.
LeBron made a great hire.
It was reach.
Nobody else was even in the market for him. He has no previous coaching experience. He has a good relationship with LeBron and Maverick, his agent. I think they had to bring somebody else in that won't challenge LeBron for control of the team. And JJ was more than happy to play that role because the money he's going to get is going to be more than what he's making right now.
It's another LeBron James power move.
It is.
And the sad part about it is
better candidates, but
the sad part about it is one of the best franchises in all of sports has just hired a guy with no experience.
Well, they kind of did that a little bit with Donovan Hand. He had no head coaching experience,
but at least he had
this guy has no coaching experience.
None.
He coached 8th graders. So.
Just imagine if we went up to Connecticut. It's like, hey, yeah, I want to put in for the lead anchor job, ESPN. They're like, well, what major network did you work for? WMB1.com. They're like, what?
Yo, you ain't never heard of us?
Push over, Steve.
Like, what? But this is the thing. So when I look at this hiring, it's like almost a joke. I look at it. We've seen what happened with Steve Nash.
Yep.
No experience, no coaching experience. Came in, the superstars just ate him up. By the All-Star break, we don't even need a coach. You know, and that's disrespectful.
I feel LeBron feels that.
That's disrespectful. I look at it this way: LeBron, if you want to be a player coach, just say it. Just say
He
it.
wants to do it, but he doesn't want the negative criticism that's going to come with that.
Especially if they lose.
Just play.
Well, because he won't have no one to blame.
Yeah.
And the sad part about it is if you're JJ Redick, if the Lakers win, you won't get any credit.
Nope.
But if the Lakers lose, you're getting all the credit.
What's
the over under of him being fired by the All-Star break?
Well,
no, he'll make it the whole year.
Not if LeBron's not happy.
If they nosedive out the gate, he won't make it the whole year.
I just think there's other candidates that are more worthy of a storied franchise shot. Other coaches who have cut their teeth, like a Monty Williams, or you mentioned if somebody's going to get their shot, Sam Cassell.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other people who have qualifications that warrant an opportunity.
Yeah.
JJ Redick is a former player who quit 3 years ago, and he's got a podcast now. Yeah, he's a great mind, but he's never coached.
Yeah, but this is what I'm. It's kind of like baffling. Is before any of these other NBA coaches that don't have jobs or whatever, or the assistants, you went to a college coach first with no NBA experience, and now you're going to a guy that has no coaching experience whatsoever.
Was a coach.
Yeah,
showed success, but Redick
showed success in the college game.
Yeah.
Name one college coach that
Redick
showed success in the NBA. I know. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Joe Mazzulla. Now you can say it.
Yeah.
But he was
a college coach?
Yes.
Where?
For Division II. He was a Division II. I told you I was up till 2:30 in the morning. So I learned some things about him. We know he's from Rhode Island. But the thing with him was he had just got promoted as he had just signed an extension, and he was approached. Even before he became a Celtics assistant, he was approached by Danny Ainge, with the help of the general manager. I always forget his name. Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens was following him. So he says, hey, listen, this guy's a great mind. I like the way he thinks. Let's try to get him. So they went after he had completed his season, but when he was in recruiting season, and he told them no the first time around for the assistant job.
The third assistant. Because remember,
he told him no.
Stevens?
He told him no. He said no. He said, he said, I can't, I recruited these kids. I can't let them down.
Which is admirable.
He said, I can't let them down. So what happened the next year they came a knocking again. And he said, you know what? He said, I haven't gotten, and they didn't have a good season. He said, I haven't gotten to the recruiting department yet. So you know what? I'll go ahead and do it. And that's, how he came, but he was at Division II. But at least that's coaching experience.
Oh yeah.
And then he was there for 2 years.
But he didn't come in as the head coach.
Oh, I know.
He came in as the third voice because they had Ime, then the guy who got the Utah coaching job.
Yes.
And then it was him. He was the third coach, the third voice.
Yes.
So, but
and by process of elimination,
he didn't come in. He didn't
come in after.
He didn't come in
after.
He didn't come in. He didn't come in.
He came in and put his time in.
Yes, coaching.
We hear the same great mind compliments going to JJ Redick as what Brad Stevens was praising upon Joe Mazzulla.
But he hasn't did it with adults.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a big difference.
Yeah, no, but
Rick Pitino couldn't do it.
But listen, not all players make coaches.
No, not at all.
There are some people that don't have the patience and the willingness to teach. They expect you to know it.
Yep.
There's a difference. I mean, hell, if that's the case, then wouldn't you think Michael Jordan would be a great coach?
He ended up not being a great owner. Just because you're a great player doesn't mean you can transition into the next role.
That's right.
You have to learn that role.
You know, I sit there and I listen to all these people. You know, you see it a lot in football. All right, we witnessed the Colts. What was his name?
Oh yeah, Jeff Saturday.
Jeff Saturday. That was a disaster. All right. Never coached in his life either, right? That was a disaster. But you sit there and I hear it a lot from my fan base. I go on, you know, I'm a member of a lot of the groups and stuff. And it's like, yeah, you know what? They should just bring Tony Romo in. He calls the plays all the time. That doesn't make you a good head coach.
No, that doesn't.
Doesn't make you a good head coach.
Nope.
Makes you a good play caller.
Yeah.
Coach.
Well, he's looking.
How do you fix the offense?
It's real simple. Right? It's real simple. This is something that a lot of people don't know, right? As a quarterback on the field, there's some things you can't see. Yeah. But if you're up in the booth,
you see it all.
You see it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of things when I go to a game. I see guys doing certain things, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna happen, or that's gonna happen. But when you're the sky and when you're the eye in the sky, you see everything.
And the eye in the sky never lies.
Yeah, exactly.
And they bring you down to
and then when you're down, and then when it's time to, it's
it's totally different.
Yes.
At a different point of
yes, exactly. So it doesn't mean because you're a great analyst and you're calling the plays out because you can see them from bird's eye view. Doesn't mean it's going to transition and make you a better coach. Yep. No, you have to have a certain temperament and you know it has to be there.
And you gotta.
Yep. Mike Woodson, Charlie, the old Atlanta coaches out there. They got a lot of guys that have experience that are out there. But everybody's trying to find that new Jack coach, that philosophy. I found them before anybody else.
I just look at it this way. You know what? As far as JJ Redick goes, the Lakers they went from a very admirable, person who interviewed in the way of Hurley. Okay, you can't say anything bad because he's been in whatever program he's gone to, he's made it excel. Okay, and right to the point now where he's got UConn on back on top of the NCAA world, but you go from that to the lowest of lows to a guy who has no coaching experience.
None.
If that isn't reaching, I don't know what it is.
You know what has to happen? Similar to what Boston did with their coach last year. Even though he had coaching experience, go get him some strong assistants because he's never been in that game situation to say, how do I game manage this? How do I control this ego? How do I know when to call a timeout and stop the bleeding? They better go out and get like two of the top assistants that are out there and put him on his staff that can guide him. Because who do you refer to? You're learning on the job. You can't draw from experience. So if you don't hire good assistants, who are you going to confide in? Because maybe they don't want no strong assistants because LeBron is going to coach that team next year. Him and Anthony Davis is the assistant coach.
LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, they're the coach and the assistant coach. And we're going to pay extra attention next year when we see them in huddles and just how much you're going to see Redick with a clipboard and LeBron waving them away and Anthony Davis like, yo, we got this.
Yeah, I just, I laugh at it because obviously, being a Celtics fan, we just one up them, and to me, it's regression. I look at it as they are taking a step back. Now, I look at it from another point of view too. So when you look at Hurley, and he told them no, right? I want to stay at UConn. Was it really because he wanted to stay at UConn? Or did they say, okay, maybe he said, okay, what is your plans for the next 4 years, 3 to 4 years? What do you, okay, well, LeBron, we want to do everything to make LeBron happy. And that probably includes drafting his son.
Yep. See ya.
We're not going to have money to go out there and get you some more help, even though we need another third player.
But we want LeBron's son.
So you have no say in how we formulate that team, but we need you to coach it.
Yeah, we this is our plan. We plan on trying to make LeBron happy, and which includes drafting his son.
Which doesn't help the team.
Oh, that hurts.
There's a lot of other better college players.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
dude
God.
didn't even stop for his college team.
The average.
This is the worst
They're going to blame it on his
case.
heart condition, but he wasn't even in high school. He was a 3-star recruit or a 4-star recruit.
This is the worst, one of the worst cases of nepotism that I've ever seen in pro sports. Talking about forcing someone onto,
I'm experiencing that now in a different way.
Oh,
Giannis and his brother.
Yeah.
True contract, gonna have a spot. He got Darvin Ham fired because Darvin Ham said you wouldn't be on the team if it was up to me.
Did he get hurt?
Nah, was it Darvin Ham?
Did he get hurt?
I mean,
no,
it was Budenholzer.
Budenholzer, yeah. Did he get hurt?
Who?
Giannis's brother.
Recently?
I
he was on the team the whole year.
No. So I read something after that. He got hurt. And he might have needed surgery.
Olympic tryouts, maybe, because he's probably going to play for Greece.
I did read something about him getting hurt, and they were saying that he might be done for the year. I don't know if it was ACL or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's the worst case of nepotism.
That's happening. I mean, we saw it in Milwaukee. We're seeing it in LA.
I can't begin to think that, and so obviously. LeBron's agent is his agent, and he's talking about we refuse to talk to any teams.
Only worked out for 2.
Well, because they refuse to hear two-way contracts, meaning that he'd have to go and play in the G League.
Mm-hmm. So it's only Minnesota and LA.
Those are the only 2 teams.
And I heard Phoenix is on the cusp.
Those are the only. So, but for the life of me, I can't. It doesn't transcend. It doesn't, the math isn't math. And how are you going to bring a kid that averaged 2.3 points a game in, that really is not a good shooter? People are, oh, he's a good defensive player.
He's 6'3".
It's like, dude, who are you going to play?
He's 6'3".
It's like, who are you going to play? 6'3", you better be dynamic. You better be a scorer.
His youngest son, I think, is going to be.
Oh yeah, of course. He's already better. He's already better. You had better be a dynamic scorer. All right.
There's your thing right there.
Yeah, he's on the under 17 Olympic team along with Booz's kids, with Kyron Anthony. All of them. The youngest one. Kid. The youngest.
Oh,
the youngest.
Yeah.
He is good.
But his name starts with a B, I want to say.
He is good.
Bryce.
Yeah.
He is good. He has good move. He can shoot. And he can play inside. And to boot, he's already 6'5", 6'6"?
6'6".
Oh, set to hit free agency.
Yeah. Who said?
Charlie put that Giannis's brother.
Yeah.
He just tore up his knee.
I did. I told you.
A free agent.
I told you.
But he's a free agent.
Yeah.
So he's already questionable healthy.
Yeah.
He stays on the team.
Yeah, I read that somewhere.
He'll sign with LA.
Yeah. Okay.
Giannis ain't there.
But yeah. So I for the life of me,
Charlie.
I don't understand. Well, I do understand. Obviously they want to make LeBron happy, but they are sacrificing literally a guy that's probably only going to be in the league maybe for a couple more years. And so you're going to take him for 2 more years.
So when he retires, when he retires, LeBron is retired.
His kid goes, yes. So yeah, but he fulfilled his dream. He played with his son.
He's going to negotiate a contract that takes care of him. He's already taken care of with his NIL deals. He'll probably get a sneaker deal from Nike because LeBron will go into Nike and say, my kid needs a sneaker deal. Nobody's going to buy him. But he's going to have money revenues from a sneaker deal. He's already got his NIL deals, and he'll get even if he only has 1 contract in the league. He's already set for life.
So you don't
need any contracts. He's set for life.
So
his father,
exactly.
He can say he was
but let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about Michael Jordan's son. Michael Jordan's son.
He didn't give him nothing.
He didn't give him nothing.
No.
He got a scholarship, and he actually, when he played in college, he averaged more points. He averaged more points than Bronny. And he didn't even he didn't even get a sniff worth of a draft.
And Mike never opened his mouth for it.
No.
Made him earn it.
No, the only time you heard about him is when they try to make them wear Adidas, and he says, "You know who my dad is?
Yeah.
I refuse to wear Adidas." The following day, Mike called him up and said, "I'll double that contract, whatever you got for them to go." So they switched up right away. But that's the only time you ever heard about his son. There was no, my son's got to play with me or else, you know. But yeah, it's crazy. Oh man, it just irks me to see something like that. And that's what had me thinking. It was like, wait a second, did Hurley go in there and say, okay, well, what are your plans for the future? Well,
didn't hear enough stuff.
Well, LeBron is going to be a free agent, literally. Free agency actually started as soon as the playoffs over.
Oh yeah,
but they couldn't announce it. They can't announce any signings. 3
deals already.
They can't. They can't be made official. But next week starts the free agency.
Cousins it?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Different rules.
No, they can. You can talk with your own, but you just can't announce it, and nothing can be done. Nothing can be done on paper. Just with your own, you can't go across. You can't go across. Like the Celtics wouldn't be able.
Like the Pacers just signed Siakam, they could do that.
Yeah. It's your own. You can negotiate with your own, but anybody who's not your own, you can't. You got to wait till the free agent. Starts.
I'm surprised he signed so fast. I think he could have got more money somewhere else.
I think he likes
the system
the Pacers have going.
He likes the system.
Remember, if they didn't lose Halliburton, they were probably Boston's toughest test in the East. You know.
So yeah, it makes me wonder, like, when Hurley walked in there, and said, well, what are your plans? What's your forecast for the next 4 years? Well, we know we're going to sign LeBron for 2 years. All right, LeBron's probably going to sign for 2 years at about $50 million.
Yeah.
So that'd be $100 million for 2 years. But we also plan on drafting his son. So you're giving up a roster spot. It's not as if you're like you can stash him in the G League because what's his name, Paul? His agent said we're not discussing two-way contracts, and the kid. It's not as if the kid earned it. He's done nothing to show any promise.
Nope.
For
one, he had a heart condition in college.
Yeah, we don't know if it'll completely be over.
Exactly.
How long of a career will he have?
It could come up. It could come back.
He's not going to be a first round pick. So there's no guaranteed money anyway.
Yeah. So
his management try to negotiate a first round pick money.
There's going to be. He's going to be the highest paid second and third round pick ever, pretty much.
It's I don't know. It sickens me.
It's not right.
So basically he's getting the same treatment that Hurley's getting. That Reddick's getting. Because of the fact that he knows somebody, he's getting let in the door.
And it's the same freaking person.
Yeah, it's the same person. It's in the same tree. No experience, no stats to go with it. No, nothing. Didn't even start in college, but yet you're going to be.
So basically, there's going to be one person that should have been drafted is not going to get drafted because this kid's going to get drafted.
Yeah, he's taking someone's spot.
That kid's going to earn a spot on another team by just showing that he was better than some of the people that were drafted, namely Bronny. But there will be. That's a true statement.
Yeah. It's you know what? And that's just another reason why I'm going to laugh at the Lakers, because you know what? You're just putting yourself behind the 8 ball in multiple situations. You're putting yourself with an inexperienced coach. You're giving up a roster spot to somebody who shouldn't have it. You know, that's twofold in 2 different areas. So good luck with it.
We talked about people who don't deserve opportunity get an opportunity. What if we transition into Monty Williams? Another coaching situation. He's proven to be a winner. He's proven to be successful, but nobody's like giving him the respect that he's due. What's wrong with Monty Williams?
It's got to be something inside, because
in Detroit, did you hear the reason why they said
no?
They brought in Trajan Langdon. They've been meeting since the offseason, but they're under new ownership. The owner came in and said, I don't want him as the coach. After Trajan Langdon already solidified saying, I want him to stay. We're on the same. So now you usurped the coach and the president. That's a doomed relationship in Detroit. And you wonder why organizations like that continue to fail. But Phoenix gave up on him when they had a boat of a team. That wasn't his fault that Phoenix didn't advance. He's not on the court.
Yeah.
Him and DeAndre Ayton had problems, and they got rid of both of them. They kept Ayton one more year, but Monty Williams has proven what he could do when he was with the Pelicans.
Yeah, and even more so with Phoenix. I mean, they lost in the finals. How do you but not everybody that goes to the finals is going to win their first time.
Nope. And you're not going to get along with everybody you work with. But as long as you're efficient, that you're producing, how many coaches can say they went to the finals? Only 2 every year, right?
So yeah.
So is everybody else a failure?
So how do you explain a full year of those 3 guys that they have in Phoenix currently, who basically had another field season?
Yeah.
How come the coach? How come? Yeah, I know. How come this coach doesn't get fired? You had a way better roster.
Vogel still there?
Who?
Phoenix didn't get fired. Their coach didn't get fired.
No, he didn't get fired. No,
Oh.
no.
Oh, for some reason he did.
Nope. It just goes to show you that I don't know. It's just something on the inside that we don't know about.
There's got to be something. Same.
But the thing is, he is. But the thing is,
about him, his other stops.
Most importantly, a lot of players have gone to bat for him. Said that he's a player's coach.
Mm-hmm. Now he doesn't have a dominant ego on Detroit, so I can't see it being a player unless they say we don't think he was only there 1 year. You didn't have a chance to develop the young talent. He had 1 draft.
And most importantly, his best player was out all season.
Yeah, yeah, Cade Cunningham.
Out all season.
Then they got Ivy, who just finished his 2nd year. They just had one of the twins who was doing good, but he got hurt this year. And now they had bad luck in the draft. They had the worst team. They're going to have the 5th pick.
That's his fault.
And there's not a strong draft. So I don't know how they're going to get better any quicker, because that's not a destination to go as a veteran that says, I'm going to go there.
I think I know why they got rid of him. Because he went and told the new owners, with the 5th pick, I'm taking Bronny James so that we can get LeBron.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. Like,
I think he's a system guy, but he has to have, I think any coach needs at least 3 years to be evaluated.
Yeah, because first of all, you can't. Your first year should be, unless you're there for the draft, which on some accounts, the teams have already made up their mind who they want.
Yeah,
you're not even
a week from today.
You're not even thought of. That's somebody else's pick.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're playing with somebody else's groceries.
Yeah, it's not even your
how
pick.
can you cook with somebody else's groceries?
It's not your pick. So you really can't be fairly evaluated.
Dynasty fantasy football. Somebody else already made these picks. I want you to come in and coach the team.
No, you can't. You can't be evaluated.
The reason why that last coach didn't work, because that assembly's not working. Now you want me to come keep the guys that you put together, and in 1 year undo all wrongdoing that was done? We have to go in a different direction. If you're hiring me, you got to give me at least 3 years to say, okay, I had a year to evaluate. That's all you can do the first year is evaluate. Of course, you're coaching, but now you say, I know where my weaknesses are on my team. So this guy's not for my system. I'll make a trade. I'll bring in this guy out of the college ranks because he fits. Now you better have an improvement. I don't care if it's a 7 to 10 game improvement. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I just, for me, it's just,
look what Orlando's done in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They've done a real nice job of assembling young talent, drafting well. They didn't go out this year. I think they need to go out and get a free agent. We hear Klay Thompson's name coming up a lot. They need a veteran presence, but they don't have a high draft pick no more after all those years.
Well, the
guys are panning out. They're developing,
yeah.
And they change coaches a couple of times. But you don't give somebody 1 year.
No,
with somebody else's roster.
No, you don't give someone 1 year unless they do with
that new owner's got to be like a Jerry Jones.
You don't.
I want to run the show.
You don't give someone 1 year unless you do what who's the college coach that came over into the pros?
And did good.
No, and did horrible for
Perry?
no. That used to coach was it Florida?
Not Billy Donovan.
Billy Donovan, but he's
No, football. I'm talking football.
Urban
Meyer. Unless you pull an Urban Meyer.
He failed every year. He coached good every year, but he had controversy everywhere he went. So you knew that could be a reason to get rid of him.
Well, no, I'm just talking about the 1 year that he was there.
They say he's a bad drunk too, so
yeah,
that probably had something.
But yeah, it's mind blowing. And it's even more mind blowing that his name hasn't even been brought up for the Lakers. Like we said, he had ties with the what's the team there? Pelicans.
Anthony Davis.
With Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis was advocating for the assistant.
Yep.
So I for the life of me, I don't know why his name isn't being brought up. Now you're talking. I would take him all day and every day over JJ Redick.
I think he'd be a good fit for the one team that's left, Cleveland.
His name's
Cleveland, and I think did Orlando Heights. I think
so.
There's two coaching.
So Wendy said his name hasn't been mentioned in any of the coaching jobs.
Because we've never heard of it. I remember when he went through the crisis when his wife was sick and he lost his wife. And he put that aside and still was a true professional. He didn't play the woes me role. He got out there and coached his ass off. And life went on, and he had so much going on his plate behind the scenes of basketball, and he still got out there and put out a great product.
Yeah.
So that tells me he can focus.
Yep. It's a shame. It seems like there are people, and it's just not in basketball. It's in all sports. It seems as if there are people that get chances that don't have the experience, but there's people out there who have the experience but fail to get the chances because of they're not well liked, or they just I don't know. It sucks. But this is the day and era that we're living in.
Money wise, because
he's got
two contracts.
He's got two contracts that he got paid out. I want to say it's $70-something million.
He had a 6-year contract. He was the highest paid coach in the league, and he only fulfilled 1 year.
I want to say it's like 70-something.
He's owed 65
almost
million. It was 5 years, 65 million, and he only coached 1 year.
Yeah. So he got paid out by he got paid out. He had 1 year, one more year left for when he was at Phoenix. So he got paid that last year. So it's got to be close to $80 million.
Pistons owe him $65 million.
And Phoenix
$65 million of his record 70 because he signed $78.5 million for 6 years.
There you go.
Yeah, it was $13 million a year.
So 70
65 still owed.
Yeah,
65 owed.
And so it showed the last 2 years, and it was over $80 million because he was owed money from Phoenix too. So it's over $80 million. I want to say it's 81 maybe, or something like that. Because I did see because it showed him. I forgot what superstar put him next. It showed him next to a superstar, and it said that he made more money in the last 2 years than it was a superstar. It might have been.
Got a max contract.
It might have been SGA, one of those guys.
Well, SGA is getting ready to get.
Oh yeah, he get paid next year. But yeah, it was 80 million. It was $81 million, I believe. Because, like I said, he still had. It said over the last 2 years. So he came into this contract, and then he was still owed money by Phoenix. So he got that money lapped on too. So over the past 2 years, if I were him, you know what? I mean, he is young. To his credit, I probably just take the year off and just wait because there's going to be better coaching jobs. There's going to be better coaching jobs that'll open up.
We saw that in football with a dude that went to Denver.
Yeah,
he sat there and he waited for an opportunity.
Combined $85 million.
Yeah, I knew it was an 80. It was 80 something. But yeah, if I'm him, I would sit there and you know what, just enjoy your money.
That's crazy.
Enjoy your money.
Oh yeah.
Sit back. You know what? Go work for NBA an NBA. Go get an NBA analyst job where you can be more personable, show your skills
and guess
analyzing.
Didn't the NBA just get rid of TNT. So somebody's got to hire a brand new talent for NBC or Amazon or some of those other networks that the games went to.
Yeah. And you can always go to the NBA network. It's just not just
NBA network, ESPN,
Fox. Yeah, it's plenty of them. Go get a job. It's not like you need money.
No,
$80-something million. It's not like you need money. Go get a job, chill out.
And they pay him all up front, don't right? It's not. No. It's he gets that yearly.
Yeah, because there's no like signing bonus or anything with coaches. You get that yearly.
Yeah.
Now they could do a buyout where, like the lottery, where we'll give you the majority of it now, but you're going to take a little bit less money. That's what they call a buyout. They do that with players.
If he's smart, he don't do that.
There's no reason for him to do it.
No.
Because he can sit there and wait at that time, and somebody else will come along and give him current money.
Yeah, we're talking $85 million for next year.
But
he's good.
Right,
he's good.
Get to that next topic.
All right. So Tank Davis.
How impressive was he?
I was a little more shocked that it actually went that long. I
thought Martin was doing good
in the early
rounds.
He
could sit on the ropes
in the early rounds. Yeah.
No, Martin did what he said he was going to do. He was going to tire him out, and they took him to deep waters and let him drown.
Yeah. Like I said,
the first 4 rounds was competitive though. I was shocked that Martin was looking as decent, but
the first 4 rounds, Tank didn't throw any punches.
Yes, but what I was going to add on to that was I have a newfound appreciation for his intelligence in the ring. Because
he's been smart all these years.
He'll sit there and won't look for the big punch, won't overexert himself, and he's like playing chess the whole time. And they said it only takes 1 punch, and that was perfectly on display because everybody thought the second punch was the knockout. It was the uppercut.
It was the uppercut.
The uppercut stunned him and left him just sitting with his chin out, and then bang, second punch.
He didn't even need that second punch. He was out from the uppercut.
No wasted energy, and Tank doesn't. He's not in a hurry to jump on people. He takes his time. He's one of the most critical thinking fighters. Yes. And I always thought of him as the puncher. Now I look at him as the technician and the puncher, but he needs to work on his defense because somebody else with power. If Ryan Garcia tagged him on his jaw, we don't know.
See, there's that if.
I know, but I'm just saying his defense is his only flaw. Everything else,
I don't know if you heard him because even in the last fight, he did it in the Ryan Garcia fight too. He said he has no power.
He said that too
about Frank, and he said that about Ryan. But he came in and said Ryan's a one-trick pony. That left hook and that's it.
Just don't get hit by it.
And he did it.
Haney found out.
And he did
speed's power.
Haney was doing good, winning, and then the left hook knocked him into 2 rounds.
I don't know if he was winning,
but he was doing good, and then the fight would turn on a left hook every 2 rounds. I was like, oh my God, he was looking like he was outboxing Garcia, but he had no answer for that left hook. Tank looked very, very. Now, people are discrediting Frank Martin. He was still undefeated, but he hadn't fought another top-notch fighter. I think he needed one more fight. He should have fought Stevenson, or he should have fought one of those other guys before.
Did you hear what Stevenson offered him? The reason why he turned down Stevenson's fight? $250,000. That's it.
Who offered him that?
Stevenson offered Frank to fight him when Frank turned it down. $250,000.
How much did he make for this fight?
Oh, a lot more.
A few million.
Oh yeah, well that's easy.
But
you know what? I'll take the L for $3.5 million or $2.5 million.
I would have liked to have seen him fight the other dude, Davis. Is it Davis? Who's the other young? He called out Tank.
Yeah, it would have been the same. It would have just been the same thing.
No, I would have liked to see Martin fight him. Keyshawn Davis.
Yeah,
before he needed to fight another high-rising, top-quality opponent.
Think about it. You're going to fight that dude, Keyshawn Davis, or you're going to fight Tank, or you're going to get the
more money?
They're saying he needed the experience.
More money.
You're right.
He jumped at the money, but he wasn't ready for that type of competition.
What's crazy is how old he is and how
same age as Tank.
But he only had
18 fights.
He started late.
Yeah, he started real late. So,
yeah,
but he got lucky, actually.
He didn't even stop boxing until he was 16 or something like that.
Ray and I were talking about it a little bit Sunday, and he said that that's the management. The management that they cherry pick these guys, and either A, they wait for the big payday with the belt, or B, they just keep fighting to get those wins up and to keep those O's up.
Yeah.
Because eventually you'll climb up. With the wins, you
Yep.
climb up. And he said whoever his management did, they did a good job with protecting him. And he said pretty much the same thing. He said, he shouldn't have jumped up as quickly as he did with that caliber of a fighter.
Not for nothing. If I'm not mistaken, Rolly, he didn't have that many fights before he fought Tank.
He was the best competition that I saw against. Oh no, Pitbull Cruz. I'm saying had the best fighting.
But Rolly had like maybe 14 fights, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have that many fights.
A little longer than that, but
yeah, well, it didn't work out too well for him.
Nah.
So what's going to be next for Tank?
I think
because Haney fell. He already beat Garcia.
I think it'd be low.
Garcia, it just came down. I read it. He's suspended
for a year.
The win got reversed.
Yeah.
And he had to give back the 1.1 million that was left of his purse after losing 1.5 for the weight clause.
It's not bad because he won 8 million on himself. So.
12 million.
Oh, is it 12 million?
Yeah.
Well, who cares? he's still what plus 9?
A 1 year suspension from boxing. That's not that long when you think about it, because
guys usually take a year.
Yeah, it takes 3 months to get ready for your next fight. So instead of having 2 fights in a year, hey, Tank Davis just came off 14 months because of house arrest.
Yeah.
14 months. And that's probably, everybody says he starts slow, but he analyzes.
He starts slow all the time.
Yeah, but they were not only using that he starts slow on a regular, but the fact that he was going to be rusty. He admitted to being a little bit rusty, but he said, I knew what I wanted to do from the beginning. I could see, he said, I could picture what was going to open up 2 rounds before it happened. That's figuring out your opponent and baiting him. And then he was like, this guy's doing me a favor. He's sitting on the ropes. Like I won't catch him with something heavy on the ropes. I won't trap him. I'm stronger than him.
Romero, 14 fights. He was 14-0 before he fought Tank.
Yeah, his management pushed him in the right direction, but unfortunately,
Hector Luis Garcia, 16-0 before he fought Tank.
But
like all these dudes, like they got the payday.
Yeah, well,
14 and 16.
I don't know who he's going to fight next.
So it depends on what you value more. Do you want a payday, or do you want to, or do you want to get incrementally better?
I think that if Teofimo wins, they'll be on a collision course.
That's 2 different weight classes, though.
5 pounds.
5 pounds.
5 pounds is a lot. Brian Garcia was 3.
But
5 pounds.
See how that worked out?
Yeah, it was 3, but Brian Garcia got in the ring at how much? He was still a lot bigger than, because he's tall.
Yeah.
So with Tank looking short and stocky, it's a lot harder for Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia made that weight, but by the time fight time came, he was 15 pounds over the weight limit.
The thing with Tank, though, Tank walks around at like 135, 130.
That's what I keep hearing, but people are trying to say he walks around at 145, 150. I said he's 5'4".
Nah, he don't walk around on 150.
I think he walks around 140. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, but
so
still,
having to cut 5 pounds ain't a lot. And he's smart to stay at 135.
He came in at 133.
He just went up from 130 to 135.
He came in at 133.
Yeah.
And the reason why he left 130 because he couldn't make 130.
Yeah. I think there was no money at 130.
But he wasn't making, I mean.
Yeah, you got to have big fights there. That's why I think he'll move up to 140, because that's what a big fight with Teofimo or somebody will be. I don't see nobody else at 135. I don't see Stevenson. I see him talking a game.
I want to see him fight Pitbull.
I want to see him fight somebody who will make him fight, because I think he's the best fighter.
Pitbull will get him, I think.
Maybe. He almost got Tank, so that's true.
But Tank fought him in one hand.
But still, he just.
What do you mean, but still?
No, I'm just saying Pitbull would be the biggest challenge for all those guys.
But I'm saying when Tank fought Pitbull, he broke his left hand.
When? During the fight.
During the fight.
Yeah.
So if
a lot of people have done that.
So, but that's what I'm saying is, and
his left hand is his jab hand.
His left hand is his power hand though.
He's a lefty. Tank.
Yes, he's a southpaw.
Yeah, he's a southpaw.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's his power hand.
Okay, I thought that was his jab hand.
Nah,
I got to beat him with a jab.
Go watch the fight if you can. You got a chance. Yo, Tank was killing him. But don't get me wrong, Pitbull, he was a bastard.
Pitbull was the one I thought gave Tank the
He
best
gave him the
fight.
toughest fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know where Tank goes.
That was only one of the two fights
at 135. I don't see too many big names coming out unless he agrees to fight Stevenson, because people will want to see that fight. But Haney's off the table now.
Stevenson he's got a
Garcia's off the table now.
he's got to prove himself. Like who has he fought?
Who?
Stevenson. Really? Think about it. There's not one big name he fought.
Santa Cruz.
And the one big fight he fought, he lost.
Who? No, Stevenson hasn't lost.
I mean, that's the I'm thinking of whatchamacallit. My head was going the other way.
Garcia lost the Tank.
No,
Haney.
Haney. I'm thinking of Haney. You see what he said? He said, I'm gonna take 2 years off now, come back and we'll fight again.
Because of that purse bid by Bob Arnhem, $2.4 million.
He said, I'll take 2 years off and I'll fight Ryan
when he comes back. Ah, come on, cut it out. That's horrible.
You don't want
now he'll take 1
That's
year
horrible.
off. That leaked yesterday, probably, that he was going to get 2 years, and they came out to be 1 year today.
That's horrible.
What did you guys think about Benavidez' fight?
For him fighting at 175, because he's a 168er.
Yeah.
And for him to move up 175,
you didn't get him out of there.
Nah.
But man, he walked him down and pushed him around.
That's a naturally bigger dude.
Yeah, that dude looked big and strong, but I thought Benavidez, he handled that part good, but his punches didn't have the same
effect.
That would have knocked out somebody at 168.
Yeah.
But that dude had only been down 3 times in his whole career anyway.
The dude's not a bum.
Yeah.
The dude wasn't a bum.
But do you think he'd be ready to fight Bertivev or Bivol?
I don't know.
I think he can get Canelo, but those other two.
Yeah, them other two are tough.
But I still like him. But I thought those were 2 excellent fights.
Will he be able to get them to come to 168?
I think he'll stay at 175 because he's got something to prove. I don't think them guys don't have to come to 168.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
They're the draw. They're the world champion.
If he gets them to come to 168, I think he gets them.
Yeah.
But
I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
These guys are going to unify the title at 175, and he's been promised a winner now. So we'll see.
If Canelo wasn't such a bitch and just fight him,
he's not going to fight.
No,
him.
Of course not.
All right. Let's move on to our final topic.
Say hey.
So Willie Mays passes away.
93.
Yes. I didn't realize he was that old. I did not realize he was that old. I'm interested to see what, like I said earlier to you guys, I'm interested to see what Major League Baseball is going to do in a way.
Robinson.
In a way.
Well,
Jackie
a little different. That's a little different.
Yeah, he broke a couple.
Yeah, he broke a collar. So they on his day, everybody gets to wear his number. So they got to be creative and do something. Do something in a way. They got to do something different, I think. But they need to pay tribute to him.
They're definitely got to pay a tribute.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm just sit back and wait.
The guys changed the game as well.
Yeah. Like I said, for some reason I didn't think he was that old. Oh, I didn't think he was in his 90s. I was thinking like 80, maybe late 70s, 80. But then when I looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah. Listen, to live that old, especially as a male, that's he's done surpassed the age of the typical male. So God bless his soul.
Seems like he's in the business of surpassing, because Derek brought up an interesting comment, I think, before we went on the air, or right when we started. He got called to the service for 2 years.
Yes.
And he still had 660 home runs. If he averaged 40 a year,
he was averaging like 40.
740.
He was averaging 7. Yeah,
because he would have been in his prime. He would have been a young dude.
Yep.
But you think of Willie Mays and you think of the 600. You say, "Wow, what a great power hitter!" But just read off something. Career 301 hitter, 660 home runs, 1,909 RBIs, 339 stolen bases, which I believe was second by a long shot to Ricky Henderson. But and 941 OPS. Power and speed and the defense. Because how many times do we see that catch And he says, that wasn't even my best catch. I can think of 10 other catches I consider better. But the over the shoulder in stadiums when they were 440 deep to center field with his back to the plate. But he also knew, you see how quick he got that ball in? Because the guy it was so deep, they were saying he was going to tag up from second base and score the winning run. So he had to get the ball. The guy couldn't even advance. It was like, oh, damn.
And his momentum was taking him away.
Yeah, he was heading toward the wall. He knew before he caught it, my first order of business is to get the ball back into the infield. And I got to make an accurate throw. He caught it and turned and threw it like in one motion.
Blindly.
Yeah.
Blindly.
And saved that run.
Blindly, yeah.
But he's definitely up there. It's hard to go through the eras and say who was the best. The game's changed so much over time. And, everybody's going to have their picks. And like we said, we've never got to put eyes on him like a Bill Russell in basketball, Willie Mays, Babe Ruth. We didn't get to see those guys play. So we have to go by everybody else's historical accounts.
Henry Aaron.
The numbers speak for themselves, but was the game the same? But everybody I've heard speak related to baseball, old school, new school, Tim Kirchner was breaking it down. Some of the other people, they have him as, if not the best player, definitely top 3 of all time. Yeah. So, the guy was incredible. He's a trailblazer, and he was a great man. We never heard his name brought up in controversy. He's always been an ambassador for the game. He was the guy that kind of nurtured Bobby Bonds Sr. when he came in, which led to Bobby Bonds Jr. So that lineage, I think he's a Barry Bonds Jr.'s godfather.
Yep, he's just
yeah. So he passed on his knowledge to another great player, a couple of great players. And funny how they all played the same way, power and speed. They all could run. They all could hit. They all could hit for average.
And here's another thing that a lot of people...
He set that mold.
Here's another thing that a lot of people didn't know about him is, like back in the day, he was the MLB player, all-star, whatever. He would get a group of black baseball players, all-stars, and play an all-star game against some of the guys that he played with. And all
so
that.
Give him a chance, yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm keeping my eyes forward, and I want to see what Major League Baseball does for him. At some point, I think it needs to be done at some point this year. Everything that he's meant for Major League Baseball, it should be done.
Well, we're at the halfway point. They got time.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't there a baseball game being played at his stadium, whatever, or something like that?
In San Francisco, where, by the way,
it was a minor league team, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to remember the old name of the stadium in San Francisco, because they said not only was it 440 feet, San Fran's wind was always blowing in. It was raining a lot. They said if he would have played in
right off the bay,
played in LA,
it's right off the bay.
They said he would add another 100 home runs.
Yeah,
that was Tim Kirchner saying that. Said if he would have played in LA, with the wind not blowing in all the time and the rain, easily another home runs. He played 20 years. That's only 5 home runs a year more.
All right, so we're gonna wrap things up. I'd like to give a shout out to these of Luxury Tax.
Back near Miami.
That's right. They came back from Miami. In case you all didn't know, they went to the American Black Film Festival. They were rubbing shoulders, elbows with the likes of
Street Elite.
Yes, a lot of Black celebrities.
Denzel speaking.
Yes, they went to a special showing of Denzel Washington. I guess he was their keynote speaker, and they got to literally within feet. Actually, they got to listen to him speak, but then when it was post, they literally were like steps away from him, and also they got to see, I forgot her name already. What's her name? The black actress, Megan Good. If you go on to WMB1, if you go on to WMB1.com or luxurytax.com, you'll see they've got promos with them. Kenny Lattimore.
I don't care about Kenny Lattimore.
But yes, so basically Tyler Perry's got a new movie coming out, and his his whole cast was there, which included Megan Good and the I forget the other black actor that plays. He plays the. It's Megan Good and him that played the lead roles. They've got pictures with them. They did some promos for them, saying follow luxury tax.
Then I saw them at the Versace Manor or the Gucci. I think it was Versace Manor.
Yeah, and they also went on a super yard, a white party. Super yard, white party. So they did some great things.
And ladies, they were dressing like they fit in, man. They look like stars themselves. I was like, yo, those are our girls.
And the good thing about it was they were at the Clevelander. Everybody knows what the Clevelander.
Oh yeah,
that's the
Miami
that's the famous hotel. The famous hotel that it lights up all different colors. It's right on the corner there. They actually were there, and they were the only ones who were at one night where they were promoting and doing giveaways. On that night, it was just them. They were giving away ladies luxury tax towels, some of Diana's products, the whole kit and caboodle. But if you want to see it, you're gonna have to wait because they're gonna have
edited up.
They're going to have it fully edited, chopped up. You'll be able to catch them first on luxurytax.com. You can then, once it's premiered, we'll also throw it on WMB1.com. But yeah, be on the lookout for the ladies luxury tax. They were doing big things last week and brought a lot of positive vibes to WMB1 Radio. Thank you. Good looking out, ladies. Yes. And we look forward to seeing more of their content, as well as everybody else. Really Charlie Podcast, Frequency Live, Straight to the Point Sports, Mags in the Morning with J9, everything. Once again, go download. Download our mobile app on Android, Apple. Follow, and share all of us. WMB1 Radio, WMB1.com, our website. All that good stuff. And also, we're going to be in the Cape Verdean Parade. You can catch us, there.
Just reminded me, I got to get the candy out the trunk.
Roll it. Yeah, it's going to melt. You got to get
no chocolate.
You got to check us out then. We'll be passing out stuff with, all our brands on it and all that good stuff. And also, if you're not doing anything this upcoming Saturday, head on down to the Lighthouse Tavern. Myself and DJ Nomad will be spinning. Summer Vibes is going to be happening this Saturday.
I'm going to bring a New Bedford legend with me Saturday night.
9 to 2 a.m. Summer Vibes.
You ain't bringing me. I'm going on my own.
That's right. I'm not bringing you. I said legend.
So in luau of the where is it? In luau of we're going to close the show out, but in luau of the Boston Celtics winning. I got a little.
All right, I gotta go.
Hey,
got a little.
And all these guys that missed out on the Father's Day cookout, man.
Oh yeah,
man, that's one of my favorite events.
Yeah, you missed out, man.
Just the camaraderie,
fun,
and how much everybody contributed. At the end of the day, we were trying to figure out what to do with the leftover food.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we had so much of it. We're like, everybody stepped up and did what they could.
Big up.
I mean, I think we were expecting a few more people too, but
big ups to the cook.
Yes. Darren
McPherson. Darren did his thing. You guys ain't checked out Darren, man. That boy can get his thing, man.
Good turnout, great weather. Always look forward to it. Positive vibes. Big ups to all the fathers that showed out, and showed up and showed out. All right. Definitely. Like I said, all those other things, make sure you follow us all on all our platforms, all our individual pages as well. And like I said, I got a little something special in the way of a tribute to the 2023-24 NBA champions. But we'll see you.
Brian did a 42-minute remix.
We'll see you soon. All right. Peace. God bless everybody. Have a good day.
Peace. Al Horford.
Really?
want Boston? Take it from me. That's a bad idea.
It's over. The Boston Celtics swarm the floor. You hear the "We Want Boston" chants here in Miami. An exclamation point.
The culture, history.
Looking for some daylight. Elevate. Splash.
Cleveland, done for. Oh wait, wrong team. And Indy,
Fires up the three.
over with. But us, we're still here. And right now, you're gonna want anyone but Boston.
I would like to introduce.
Okay, let's go.
No billboards, no online radio station.
WND1 Radio Broadcasting Live 24/7. All music genres. WND1 Radio.
Your urban music link.